And that's the
Now,
disappointing when you fuck a guy for over an hour and he just go.
Did anybody recognize you from film in the industry? They did? Okay. Okay. Well, I just came in. You gotta do what you gotta do.
You are such an advocate. One thing is what I love is I love seeing a lot of the beautiful women that's in the industry as sex advocates.
And I would set up crystals on their body based off of their chakra. And the crystals, what they do is if they sit long enough, they begin to like permeate through the body. They begin to expand through the body and they create a bridge.
I shot with John Q too. You know, John Q, you know, I'm the first big girl, but he did his side, you know, his side. Yeah. But
I would, and I have given my last dime to people. I've given when I should have just watched. And it's not always about giving financially. It's giving your space and your time and your energy.
so that's kind of like a 50-50 answer. What I got, that wasn't really a yes or no answer.
I think I actually would, and this is of course the therapist in me, I would be asking them, like, tell me how this is celibacy for you.
So what's first there? Aim?
I shoot them just like I would be shooting a regular female. So you don't put the emphasis on that. So it makes it more consistent with the title of being transgender
I have a
woman.
good friend. She lives here in Atlanta. I met her on a porn set. She wrote a book called From Porn to the Pulpit. Now, I won't say she was like this super... Yeah, she's my best friend. She's my best friend. Her name is Danielle Williams McCord. She wrote an amazing book called From Porn to the Pulpit. She's been preaching for 10 years now, but I met her on a porn set.
In any business that you find yourself in. Because definitely for me, like, you know, creating a product to push to the consumer, and for me, everything was consumer driven. If they didn't want it, I'm not gonna make it because I knew it.
Felt like if we kept our head a little below the sagebrush, that we would just be able to keep on going without any interference or anything like that. But you know, that's
like, dude, I'm sitting in like the dressing room, like just with all the 20-year-olds and 22-year-olds, 25-year-olds. I'm like, how old are you? Oh, I'm 25. I'm like, how old are you? I'm 23. And I'm like, dude, I'm 30.
Before I leave the house, I feel like the last look. You know, this is how I feel, this is what I'm thinking, you know. Now, when I get out and interact with other people, it's going to be what it is.
Right, okay.
Yeah, bridging the gap. Naomi Banks, the goddess. Tune in. Hey yo, Black, where we at? Elements. Got a problem? What's the issue? Ask Naomi for advice, she will bless you. Is it sex, love, or relationships? If your spirits are down, you can get a daily uplift. Just listen every word that she speaks. Setting trends with hashtags for every day of the week. Hashtag motivational Mondays, testimonial Tuesdays. I've been listening for the last 2 days. Wet Willie or Wisdom Wednesdays. Either way, the conversation gon' be lengthy. It's not hearsay. This is her way. You know she'll keep you thirst trapping on a Thursday. 4 days down, I'll talk about the number 5 day. Never coy, she always keeps it freaky on Fridays. Spiritual on Saturdays with sessions in the morning. Still uplifting and inspiring you all in. Being the goddess that she is, she keeps you all in. Formed on soul searching Sundays, just call in. If you misinformed, come get the facts. Fortunate for you, she's looking to bridge the gap. Yes, she was a porn star, but she's more than that. She's a certified specialist teaching us how to act. By the end of the show, we'll agree to disagree, but be good to each other and ourselves and keep it sexy. Yeah. Tune in every week to Ask Naomi. Bridging the Gap with Naomi Banks and Dog Pound Mike. Don't miss it. Tune in.
All right, my sexy people. Hey, it is Thursday. All right. All right, it's your girl, you got it, Naomi Banks here on Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap podcast, where we talk about love, sex, relationship, cultural differences, and so much more, while bridging the gap between them all and teaching the world on sex, love, language, attitude, and some spiritual uplifting. But today we're going to be doing some hot topic today. Hot topic. You know, we've been kind of serious on the past, few weeks, right? We're towards the end of February. It's the second month of the year, and all hell is breaking loose on the tube. It is. And I kind of got lost in a little thing this past weekend. Last weekend, I kind of went on a low vibrational weekend with this topic that I wanted to share with y'all. But it's hot topic. But see, I couldn't do it by myself. Yeah, I got Dog Pound Mike right, but I had to bring our resident therapist. I had to bring him in just so we like to have a little fun, but I needed him to kind of be the little straight talk comedy today, right? So we got Dr. Will with us today. Hey, Dr. Will.
Hey, it's so good to see you today. I was like, happy Thursday. It's been quite the week. It's been quite the week.
Yes, it has.
This week has been weekend.
Yes, it's been weakening. It's been weekend. It's been weekend. It's been weekend through the week.
Yeah, it truly has.
Yeah,
it's good to see you.
Thank you. So let me say, I know you guys are looking like, wait, hold on, something going on with Naomi. So let me tell y'all something today, not too long ago.
I like this.
And when I do this, y'all, it feels so good. Literally, it feels so good.
I like this. I like this.
You like this?
I like
My
this.
little boy was like, She said, So let me tell y'all how all of this came about. So I've been thinking about doing it for the past few months. And my sister has both of her sides shaved, and she have locks as well. She has both of her sides shaved. And I was like, the thing is my size, I'm getting a little older and they were thinning. So this week, 3 of my locks came out. Yes, I'm being honest. 3 of my locks came out. So I'm steady trying to relock and save this hair over here on the side, even though all the rest of my hair is thick, but it's just over here on my left side. Just been like, fine. I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna shave it. And so I hit my good girlfriend, Miss Charmaine. I started thinking about shaving the side of my hair. I said, what you think? She's like, I think it's gonna be sexy. So let me say this, and I want to give a shout out to Motor Goddess. When I saw Motor Goddess, beautiful woman. She got both of her sides of her hair shaved. I was like,
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I said that looks sexy. I sat with it for a few days, and then today I went in and I grabbed my hair and I was like, okay, what I'm gonna do with it? Then I started thinking. And then I thought about when I had took out my extensions. Remember, I had did a whole video on it. Remember, y'all? And that I had my extensions in for like 6 months, maybe. And so I had underestimated the growth that I did, and I kind of used it as a little form. So actually, the left side was the hair that I cut too much of. So I really was underestimating the length of what. Remember, I cut like this much of my hair on my left side. Yeah. So I'm always trying to make something of a learning, a learning for me, a learning spiritual kind of thing for me. And so I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is. So I went in my little golden rose room and I sat down in front of the mirror and I did a nice little quick prayer. And I was like, is it time for me to start over or shave it off or give it a relax? Because I'm thinking, matter of fact, when I think right now, this is probably where most of my migraines come from on this side. This is where it starts.
Interesting.
Yes. And so when I cut and I shaved, I actually went and bought me some brand new clippers. When I cut and I shaved it, I did a nice exfoliated with it. Put some, created some nice little oils for it, massaged it, all of that. And then I rubbed my hair like this, and I was like, oh, that feels so good. And it was just so relaxing. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. I said I can rock this. I can do this for a minute.
I like
And my
that.
mom's
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? Everybody was just in shock because they never see me. I've shaved off all of my hair, but it's always been a little, it's stylish now, but it was just so dramatic for them to see one side is really, really long, and then the other side is straight bald, bald like this, but it's relaxing for me. So if y'all see me do like this while we talking, just know that I'm having some moments.
I know what
If you ever thinking, right?
What'd you say, dog?
I know what you feel. Mine been off for 30 years. So hey, Will, I've been bald. She bald. It's your turn.
Right. I got my sides a little down. I always have a design on the sides. I was like, I'm still on the fade game. I still gotta keep the fade.
I'm slow fade. I done faded a long time ago.
You got a full fade.
Well, today's topic, and it's been going on for a whole week, and I think me and Dr. Will had talked about. Was it today? Was it this morning or yesterday? When did we talk? I told you that I went down that little rabbit hole, and
you went down a rabbit hole. Yeah.
I went down a little rabbit hole with this low vibrational series that was going on TikTok, but it's just amazing. But I had wanted to really tap into your thought pattern. Of course, I'm gonna get Dog Pound Mike, but I wanted to get somebody to kind of help us understand, what was coming from this other person. So the name of this series is called "Who the Fuck Did I Marry?" And this is about this young lady named Risa Tisa, and she did a 50 series. So it's 50 video series that she did from February 14th to the 16th, I think it was, because her birthday was on the 15th. So it was the 16th or 17th, but whatever. But by the end of the weekend, it was all the way done. I think it was Friday night, the day that I was shut down, Friday and Saturday, I was watching it live with everybody else. And when I say that I got caught up in it, it was the best damn low vibrational series that I've ever seen. It was just real. And now they have like some different seasons with it because people has come out people has come out the woodwork with it, from the different ex-wives, the ex-girlfriends. It's just been something. So this is what I want to do. I want to take a break and I want to come back. I tried to get Mike to watch it. I sent him some things. I don't know if he watched some of it or anything like that, but I know we have some folks over there. Actually, I say, hey, BTG crew, my BTG crew over there, everybody over there. But yes, it's very interesting. I'm gonna give y'all like a rundown when we come back from the break. But yeah. It's something else. It's something else. All right. So we'll be back with our hot topics today. This is your girl, D Goddess Naomi Banks here on Ask Naomi, Bridging the Gap podcast. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Dr. Will with the Washington Wellness Institute. Here at the Institute, we focus on so many different things, but our biggest focus is modernizing how we take mental illness into holistic wellness and making healing a lifestyle. So if you're interested in taking the next steps, whether it's a clinician, community member, or simply just a friend, sign up today for a 15-minute consultation. You won't regret it. Be kind to yourself and heal always.
Welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast with Naomi Banks, where every day is a chance to embrace self-discovery and personal growth. Join Naomi on a transformative journey, streaming exclusively on Spotify and Breaker. With daily episodes from Monday through Friday, podcast is your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and self-love. Dive deep into engaging conversations about self-care, mindfulness, and personal development. Naomi brings you expert insights, practical tips, and uplifting stories from thought leaders in the field. Embark on a journey of self-discovery and unlock the power of self-love. Mark your calendars and tune in to the Season of Self-Love podcast. Available every weekday on Spotify and Spreaker. Remember, it's time to prioritize yourself and embrace the beautiful season of self-love. Get inspired and join Naomi Banks on the Season of Self-Love podcast.
All right, it's your girl, Goddess Naomi Banks here on Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap podcast. We are here with Dr. Mike, and Dr. Will, and today it's all about a hot topic day. It's something that's been going on all week. Well, actually, I want to talk about, before I get on that, I want to discuss, and I want to ask you this, Dr. Will, too. I want to ask your input on it, as well as your Dr. Mike. So, well, actually, it started off last week. It kicked off with Monique, the comedian, was on Club Shay Shay, right? And she was kind of letting everything out. The big running thing is the question of her, of how she was blackballed in the industry. So she was mostly telling her truth. And he asked about her oldest son, and she expressed that they had an estranged relationship, right? And honestly, and it was so funny because even watching that show, that episode, I was like, wow, we've never seen or heard from this son. This is her oldest son. And she said, with their difficulties and stuff like that, because when she had him, she was, just in the beginning of her career. So she couldn't really be the mother that she could to him as she is with her other three, right? Fast forward 2 or 3 days later, we finally hear from the son. The son goes and does a live. Mind you, no one ever heard him or nothing. And he speaks and says, great voice, speaks and talks about his relationship with his mother. So in this, he says that he hasn't been raised by his mother. He's been raised by other people, but his mother showed him love through gifts. He's always looked for attention from his mother. But of course, she was working, so she really never had the chance to give it to him. They never really been able to reconnect the way that he might want to. You understand what I'm saying for that? All right. So he expressed that. He said some of the things that she said, yeah. But other things, he want her to start being accountable for her lack of being a mother to him. You understand what I'm saying? So what I saw is this still is a hurt child that's still speaking in the manner of, okay, you keep saying this, that, but you not saying it to me. So you're saying to others and you're not saying to me. So the next day, Monique and her husband gets on live and they have a conversation. And one of the conversations was that one of the statements that was made is that, well, my son is going through something mentally right now. I don't know exactly what it is. And she said just a little bit. And then the husband begins to speak. And then in that manner, the husband, is talking directly to the son. And to me, and I'm just going to be honest when I say this, to me, it was more of, well, we gave you money when you didn't have money because you're supposed to be a man in that source. Now, I'm going to go back to what he said. He said, no, his mother did give him money. He said, my mother, he said, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what I needed besides money. And then it was a statement that the stepfather said, we have 3 sons. And he said, I'm a son too. What happened to me is 4 sons. So Monique says in the conversation with him and the hubby is that, well, no, he has 3 sons. You are my son. You know him by Uncle Sid. He knew you before you were you. So for him, and why I laugh, because you can hear the hurt, and he talks very well. I mean, great voice, could say his words, and he had them written down so he can be able to speak, as he say it. But you can see the hurt, and you can see this is a hurt little boy that's looking for his mother to love him, just to love him, to show him what he needed back then. He still needs it now. So when you go through the comments of everything on both sides, you see that people are saying, no, you need to be a man and you need to grow up. You need to leave that alone. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, and I believe we talked about this in the past 2 shows that we had this morning for the season of self-love, about healing that little person. We actually had a great It felt like I was on the couch this morning with our episode with the fearful, with the feeling of fear, with that one. And let me just give a little intake on that one. On that conversation, we were talking about fear. He has asked me several different questions about me and how I deal with fear and how I looked at it at fear. And what a breakthrough that came from me is that at that moment in time, right in front of the camera, I actually trusted my intuition. So he was able to help me to open up something that I hadn't been able to open up ever, because I've always had some type of mask on myself. Period. Period. What I'm saying is that even through our conversation that we had this morning, starting with the 4-year-old and going back up, at moments of times we need to go back and we need to be able to help that young person heal. And for him, he's saying that if you as my mother being on a big platform and you speaking and you want to make everybody else accountable for their wrongdoing to you, how about you come back home and be accountable for your wrongdoing to me?
Mm.
And it's so funny because I see Melissa said she tried to watch. I tried to watch Monique, her husband. I tried to watch it because I love me some Monique. I do. But when I saw the way that they came back to that young man, it was so offsetting to me, because I said, you did not hear what this young man said. You did not hear it at all. You coming back on defense instead of picking up a phone and say, baby, let's talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's talk. But you go on to live and you allow your husband to do most of the speaking to him and you not addressing it. So as a young man, for you as a therapist, what will you say to that young man?
Naomi, this is a hard one, because I'm thinking of it as a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking as a Black man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of it as a Black boy.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's 3 hats that I'm wearing when I hear this. I don't really get into entertainment. I stay kind of centered in things I'm involved in. So to hear that, as I'll do each hat and I'll do it briefly.
Mm-hmm.
So as a therapist, it's not what you think, it's how they feel. It's not what you think, it's how they feel. And so it's sad that, especially in the Black community, when it comes to a time to hold emotional accountability, Black parents fail so much in the ability to remove themselves from the thought that they were being providers. And they lack the nurturing quality at times because of their own survival, because of their own hardship, because of their own adversity, because of their own survival to get to a place where they could be successful. And a lot of times, especially for Black women, when I see a Black woman highly successful, I'm always curious in the back of my mind to ask, what did you sacrifice to get here? Because I do know that Black women sacrifice twice as much to get to those spaces, to even be seen, where we would actually go and watch them live.
Mm-hmm.
So I always think about what happened to you to get to that place. As a Black man, it hurts to see another Black man be the mouthpiece and protect something that actually comes from something before you.
Yeah.
Right. It's also, Black men are always put in positions to take the bullet, but then also get in trouble for putting the bullet in the gun at the same time too. So it's like, we can't shoot and then we can't it's like, figure out what to do. So
Right.
then we just become mouthpieces. And so it feels, I have no disrespect or anything, but it's one of those things where, as a Black man to Black man, I want to know, what is your position in this, and what is the cost of you not being the mouthpiece for this? What would have happened if you didn't speak up and you allowed them to have a mother-son conversation?
Yeah.
Especially as a stepfather.
Yeah.
Right. in that type of situation. And then as a black boy, it hurts because many times black boys are shut out of the emotional conversations, out of the ability to be seen and felt, and they're asked to perform at a certain level that removes their entire identity of their internal identities. And so whether he had a mental illness or not, we always do that right when we know, right when I get this all the time when my clients walk in, these little black boys walk into my office and sit on my couch, I always get told, oh, he had mental health issues. And then I go, oh, okay. So I sit down, I do the intake, I'm asking all my questions, doing all the therapeutic questions to make sure I'm, making sure I can make a diagnosis. And I really can't make a diagnosis. What it is that your mother doesn't care about how you feel. She ain't got time for that. She doesn't have time to really consider what you're really going through because she's focused more on success than the actual development of her child. And we talk a lot about how, well, they have to make sure they're protected and all this. And is it really protection? It's not protection at that point. So even if they had a mental illness and they came online, the fact that they had to go live to get your attention, that's a grown boy. It's a man, right? They knew how to create something, write something out, went live, and was able to discuss it and got through it, which means that they have enough consciousness and cognitive ability to express what they're going through. And as a parent, once again, it goes back to, it's not what I think, it's how they feel, especially at that age. Right. And so, as a therapist, I wonder, what's the internal sacrifice that you're holding on to that you haven't let go of? What's the fear of being seen for what you have not been?
Yeah.
Right. As a black man, I'm wondering, why is it that you feel like you as a man, you need to step in now? Why weren't you stepping in before? And if you did decide not to step in, who was stopping you from thinking you didn't have the power to step back or step forward?
Right.
Where who holds the power in the relationship dynamic of your own manhood?
Yeah.
And as a black boy, I just want to say, I'm sorry that you felt like you had to be seen by doing that.
Yeah. It was a question for him that a lot of I guess comment. I don't know, Monique fans and just people just watching, ask him, well, why did you? The question was why, and he even said it in his statement.
Right.
He said, I know you all wondering why did I come to the internet? I've never came before. He said, because one, I'm tired of the false narrative that's been put out about our relationship. He said, one. He said, and two, I wanted to be able to speak without being interrupted.
That doesn't sound like someone that has a mental illness. That sounds like somebody, even if he does have a mental illness, we all have mental illnesses. Some express them more than others. Some of us express them more than others at the end. So the fact that he could make that type of decision about why he wanted to reclaim his power,
Yeah.
so that his identity had integrity.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was the part that I did see of the rebuttal of for his thing, for what he said. It was so disheartening. It really was, because I am a mother. And at a moment in my life, I was a single mother at one time. And I understand and know the sacrifices that I've made. And I've apologized to my oldest daughter, and I'm very accountable, so I don't, it was very disheartening knowing that this is something that we always see her root for, is about people taking accountability, about fairness, about your character, in that. And in that moment, I felt like they just treated him like he was just another on the street. You understand what I'm saying? So even speaking the word that my son has mental illness, and give it to the masses, even if it's true or not.
Right. You're just
Where
open.
does it, you as, and I hate to say this, but I'm going to be real, but where is it your motherly instincts, but say, I'm gonna still protect my baby regardless of what he say to me? Because what I've learned is being a child and having your own perspective of what happened back in the day. You
Mm.
understand what I'm saying? We have our vision
Yeah.
of what happened, and then there's a vision on what it is. You understand what I'm saying? And a
But
lot of
that,
times when hurt
mm,
happens,
yeah,
when that hurt happens, that child is at that time, at that moment, and it stops right there.
yeah, yeah.
And that hurts is right there. So if you continue to keep hurting this baby over and over again and keep giving him false hope, better yet, you keep paying him off, because that's what it feel like. Paying him off. He'll call you and say, well, I need this, and you'll give it to him.
Mm.
But then if he don't do what you tell him to do, and this is go for anybody. Now I'm just speaking to anybody now. If they don't do what you tell them to do, and then they're what? And I'm guilty of it, because I've done it to my oldest one. For we'll give her anything. And when she fuck up, it was like, you so ungrateful. And it was like, that's not what she wanted. Like, she wanted my time. And even though she was with me, it was still time that she needed. But I was so focused on succeeding, proving a point. You understand what I'm saying? And so, but I've taken accountability, and we've had several conversations, her and I, with it. And I guess just looking at Monique and hearing part of her story, because we don't know all the story, we just know on what she tells us, and that's just like that. There's still a mask, a veil that's covered. And now she has another part of her husband, who is a mask that's helped covering it as well, enabling it. And when I looked at him before, I looked at him, okay, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. A man and a woman standing up, and he's standing there and he protecting her. But then at some point in time, you all have to step back, move it back, bring that baby, because he's still a baby. Even though he a grown man, he's still a baby, because he's still there. And he's a father now.
So, and but this is the problem I have with. So this is where I get like this is the other side, right, of me, where I have no tolerance. I have no tolerance for people that weaponize mental health stigma. And a lot of Black folk in the community take mental illness and put it as a stigma. It's unless they can control it or medicate it down, they don't want to deal with you. They don't want to deal with you. And so, like, it's frustrating for you to output their mental illness. And then, but I'm like, let's talk about, so when you said that, what was the point of you talking about their mental illness?
Yeah.
Before they had to say anything, which means that now you're saying that because of mental illness, they don't have the right consciousness to describe how they feel.
Yeah.
So what makes you think that you don't have the right to say something with your mental illnesses? You talked about your stories. So what makes you think that, what have you done to make yourself more, I guess, credible?
Right.
What makes your mental illness more credible than their mental illness, when a lot of their mental illness is probably coming from your mental illness? You probably passed down a lot of that mental illness.
Yeah, exactly.
So that lack of accountability and the lack of willingness to just accept, it's that type of mindset that ends up to those more severe forms of mental health, which I won't say online.
Yeah.
And then you wonder, oh, how could this have happened? Because it's those type. It's not the type that always externally show themselves. It's always the ones that are quiet and alone and isolated.
Yeah.
Are the ones that you really got to worry about.
Yeah.
And so that hurts my heart to have to see the mental illness stigma being weaponized.
Yeah.
For the accountability and the image of security. That's not okay. That's not okay.
Yeah. Thank you for. I needed to hear that. And because I need people to hear that. And I don't know if Monique will ever see this, but I hope she do, to that she can just stop and take a break, take a check. And what I mean, take a check, is because at some moment of time in your life that you knew you needed someone, you needed your parents to be that superhero and to hear you. So that same thing that you needed, that's something that your son needs as well. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's where you have to really sit, and you really got to check yourself, like, wait, did I just, let me go get my baby. Let me leave daddy. See it right here for a moment. Let me go have a conversation with my son about, because at one moment it was you and your son, even though whatever his name said, I'm sorry, no, that's disrespectful. Well, see, he was there as your best friend, but he wasn't your man then.
Mm-hmm.
So now you
And
have
that's
to think, you understand what I'm saying? So you have to
Yep.
go grab that young man that you carried for however months you carried him, and that
Yeah.
saw you in that moment, and you have to help him for him to get healed. We are a part of that foundation of helping our children to get healed. I don't care what nobody say. The things that we happen or what we put on our kids, we have to be accountable for that. As many
Yeah.
people would say, you know, well, they're grown now, they can go do with the things they want. You know, which is true enough. It's true, but still, you have to take accountability. What did I show them? What did
Yeah.
I show them? I ain't talking about speaking and talking. What did you show them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we have to go back though, right? Because the truth is, I think a lot of parents are scared to enter that space. And so for me, even though I may have a feeling about it, I still have a heart that goes out to Monique and for her parenting, because I know a lot of parents that are afraid of being themselves. Like I know a lot of great parents that are terrible people.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of terrible people that are great parents. And
Mhm.
so it's one of those things where, do you know when it's time to let your kids see you for mom? And when do you let them know you as Monique? When do they let you know to be as mom and Naomi? When do you separate the difference? And when do you show them that? And are you ready to show them that? And let them understand that they can love both. And also, some kids don't know when to love mom or when to love their name, whatever their name is.
Mhm.
And so you have to ask yourself, what is the difference? Because you're so much more than all of that.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of times we're afraid to let go of that label of what a mom means, or you're afraid to remove ourselves to be seen for the person we became rather than the mother they only knew us as, or the father
Right.
they knew us as.
Mhm. Yeah. When I say I've done work, I've done the work. I understand. I've looked at
Mhm.
each one of my girls, and I understand. And so even when they come and talk to me, they can come and talk to me, and I don't sit in judgment because I understand everything what they are
Mhm.
going through. And I know, especially my oldest baby, like some of the choices that she made is because I put some of those choices in front of her. You understand what I'm saying? And so, and I have to be, I've been responsible for those things, and and spoke and talked with her about it, and each one of them about it. Um, but coming from a family that we don't say nothing. We keep that mask on, and it's just it. I'm a different type of parent. I'm a different type of mother, and I wasn't always this way. But through my self-love process, through my healing, just growing, period, it made me become a better woman. It truly has. And not only am I my daughter's mother, they could say, yeah, you my best friend, because they will call me in a minute and will talk to me, and I will give them the
Mhm.
but then I would still love them too. You know what I mean? I would let them know that they are not their mistakes,
Mhm.
and give them room to make it. I've taught myself to step back and allow them to have their space to be who they feel that they want to be, beyond me or beyond their father. You understand what I'm saying? And allow that. And it took, and where I'm speaking is because it took me a minute to get there. It took me a minute to get there because I'm that mother. When something happened, I used to be right there. And she's like, damn, how you get here? Oh, I know, because I did it.
You're just ready. You
Right,
got
but
the red button.
I had to back up. And I guess when I saw that with Monique, I just, I don't know. I that was so disheartening, but you know what? It had needed to happen. And why it needed to happen? Because hopefully that she is able to see herself. Sometimes we don't see ourselves. So maybe she's able to see herself and like look at that video back and like, wait, hold on, what the fuck was that? Oh, let me go back.
I wish people would watch their videos. I wish people would
Yeah.
watch their videos.
Yeah.
People don't watch their videos, and that's something I always have my clients like, talk about their whole day,
Mhm.
and then they recorded audio. And when they wake up the next day, I had them listen to what they said yesterday and see like, well, what do I need to do different from yesterday? Because the person that was yesterday saying all that, I need to understand what I need to do to make that better. And they're
Mhm.
like, oh, I hate listening to myself the next day. I hate what I said yesterday. I'm like, well, you went through it. So like you gotta like fix it. It's your voice, your words. You know, we never learn how to self-correct.
Yeah.
Right. We never learn how to self-correct.
And we have to. We have to. We have to. All right, let's take a quick break. I ain't mean to spend this much time on Monique because I really want to talk about the Risha. I really want to talk about that one because that just went off the hook. All right, let's take a quick break. It's your girl, you got us, Naomi Banks here on Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap podcast, and we will be right back.
Welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast with Naomi Banks, where every day is a chance to embrace self-discovery and personal growth. Join Naomi on a transformative journey, streaming exclusively on Spotify and Breaker. With daily episodes from Monday through Friday, podcast is your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and self-love. Dive deep into engaging conversations about self-care, mindfulness, and personal development. Naomi brings you expert insights, practical tips, and uplifting stories from thought leaders in the field. Embark on a journey of self-discovery and unlock the power of self-love. Mark your calendars and tune in to the Season of Self-Love podcast, available every weekday on Spotify and Spreaker. Remember, it's time to prioritize yourself and embrace the beautiful season of self-love. Get inspired and join Naomi Banks on the Season of Self-Love podcast.
All right, well, welcome back. It's your girl, the goddess Naomi Banks here on Ask Naomi Bridging Gap podcast. I'm here with Dog Mike. Mike, what's up?
What's happening? What's happening?
What's going on? And I'm here with Dr. Will. What's going on?
Present and powerful.
I heard that. Present and powerful. All right, I got the BTG crew here. Hey, everybody. I see all of the comments, the great comments that you are giving. And in the last, before the break, we were talking about Monique and her son. Tonight's all about hot topics. But I wanted to bring Dr. Will in because the hot topics now they've been very deep for the past few weeks. And this past weekend, I spent the whole weekend on the Who the Fuck Did I Marry series by Risa Misa on TikTok. And when I say that this young lady did a 50 series of videos, 10-minute videos per video, 50 videos. And I mean, she's have taken the internet by storm with this. So I'm going to just give you a rundown on what it is. She met this guy in March of 2020, right when COVID was kicking off. She met him on dating site, Facebook hookups or whatever. I don't know what the Facebook thing and another one. And they met. Well, they talked, it was back and forth talking. And then he asked her out for a date. So they had, he asked her, what's your favorite restaurant? And she said the Cheesecake Factory. Okay. He said, okay, well, let's meet in between. This is in Georgia. Then in Georgia, let's meet in between and, we can, have a date then. So he's at the restaurant waiting for her or whatever. And she's on her way. While she's on her way, she gets a blowout. All right. So at this time, she's like, man, I got So she calls him and let him know that she has a blowout. He was like, oh, well, where you at? Send me a ping. I'll come and help you out. She comes. She like, oh my God, like he's coming to help me, to save me. Oh my God, he's, going to be great. I hope he looks the way that he said he looked. He comes, of course, to her. He's gorgeous, 6'4", amazing, just whatever. He changes her tire. Then he goes and buys her a tire, So they have a great conversation. They, eating, whatever. They date for another 2 weeks. Then COVID really happens. And this is where cities started shutting down. So Atlanta shuts down. So now they're trying to figure out, are we going to be together in COVID in one, situation or what? So they decide to go stay at her house. Right. So he has told her that he's a a VP of a company. He has such and such, he, has all of these different things. He did say that he was married before, that he got a divorce because he walked in on his wife cheating on him. But he still has a great connection with the stepkids and such and such and such. And she's like, okay, no. And the process for all of this goes in is that he begins to lie about a lot of things. Everything. So he has told her that he had four brothers, um, four brothers, two from a previous relationship that his father had. That was his half brothers, and then the two other brothers, and then two sisters. Okay. She thought she met two of the brothers, and she's heard him speak to the other brother, and she heard him speak to some other people that he said who died during COVID. It was all a big lie. Everything was a lie, from the very first conversation, even with the wife. And I would want to share it here with, but I'm not. You can't. I can't really share it on here. But she originally found out that everything was a lie, that he was not the VP. He actually was a temporary that worked at the temp service. They even went into as much as to go to buy a house. He said that he had the money for the down payment for a house, that he had gotten a loan for $700,000 from Chase. He had the printout and everything. Like, he had all of everything. He had the proof of everything, and so she didn't think that it was a lie. But to come out that it was a lie, that everything that it was Googled, and what do you call this, screenshot, and
Google Lens and all that.
yeah, all of that. Yeah, it was all of that, and she had a miscarriage. It was just so many things that she had. So it was one statement that she made, and I think it was in part 4 or 5. And she said what he would do is he will watch you as he build you up with excitement, and then watch you as he tell you it can't happen. Like, purposely would do, like, we'll say, okay, we're gonna go get this, we're gonna go look at this house, we're gonna go get this car, we're gonna go, we're gonna go do this, we're gonna go do that. And it was always an excuse on why something is not gonna happen then. So it's like he would get her all riled up, and then
So it's almost like breadcrumbing.
now what is that called?
I call it breadcrumbing.
Breadcrumbing. So explain that to the listeners what that mean, and me too.
Yeah. So they
him too.
No, you leave the breadcrumbs. Yeah.
I mean, I know that, but I want,
Yeah. So what someone will do is, especially for pathological liars, what they'll do is they'll show you the loaf of bread, and they wanted to make sure that you get the slice, and be like, I'm gonna give you this slice. And what they do is they pick pieces of the crust so that it feeds you just enough. But we always want what's beyond the crust, right? We want that soft part.
Yeah.
And so when they breadcrumb, they give you the hard part where it's like it tastes a little bit good, but you want that inside part. You want that inside part.
Right.
And so what they do is they keep breadcrumbing around the whole thing, and then once all the crust is done, they put the bread right back in the loaf, and they get another piece. So you never actually get to bite the actual loaf of bread, but you always eat the crust. So that's why we call it crumbs.
That's so cool.
So you're breadcrumbing me. So they always get, so that's what it does to keep you coming. And then also, if you plan it well enough, like on their end, if they can give you the whole plan and what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, those are the crumbs, right? And so the consistency of language of the promise is more important than the actual offering, because the truth is that when you have a loaf of bread, you got a lot of pieces to give.
Right.
And so pathological liars will do that. And with narcissism, especially, what they do is they use the breadcrumbing as a way to keep you attached and
Mm.
connected or feeling obligated to them while destroying your identity to make you more attached.
Yeah. And that's something that she said. She said she is a different woman. She said she don't even recognize, she don't even know who that woman was before she met him. Like it's like she don't even know how to get back there
Mm-hmm.
or what it was. But the thing is that he has done this to several different women. He has been married twice before then, and had some girlfriends in between then that he has done the same thing with them. His family do not talk to him. I think she said just the twin. He has a twin brother, but everyone else doesn't because they said this is something that he's always done. He's always been a liar. And she said she had psychology classes and all of those things and all of that. And she said, but she never really went deep into it. It was just a part of a course that she needed. And she just really didn't. She the compulsive liar, and now it's going to a whole nother level. And she said she just didn't understand how someone can do that to
It's
someone.
almost sociopathic.
Yeah,
It's almost sociopathic.
man.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
that's a sociopathic mindset where it's almost on the point of I can dissociate what my identity is to be what your heart needs, so
yeah.
that I don't have to actually be myself. And
Mm,
so those type of chameleon like behaviors, I'm going to be with everything what your heart needs, so
mm.
that I can have what I want, and then never have to actually have ownership. And so I'm just curious more about how that man grew up and what he went through to make him understand that that was a way that he needed to survive. So I'm wondering what that little boy went through to become that person, especially if there's a twin. I'm very curious, what was their upbringing like to make him decide that that was the answer, and for the other one not to decide that was the answer.
Right. And
You know?
I thought about that. And I'm trying to remember who that was that I was speaking to, that I was talking to about that. And I believe she even said, she said, I don't understand how they can let him go this long like that. So if you knew that was him, how can you let him go that long without that? The thing is that he always had
Mm,
money. He's always had money. Like she said, like he took care of the bills at the house, like he paid the rent, he took care of the bills, like
mhm,
he did that. She just never, the lies that he told, she
mm,
didn't understand why those lies were was the lies. Like it just didn't make
yeah.
any sense on how it was. It just wasn't sitting right with her or anyone else. Like they had a miscarriage, and he had told his aunt, who turned out to be not his aunt but his mother's best friend, is that they had a son. He was born in January. And then the aunt kept asking, well, where's the pictures? Well, when are you going to bring them here? When we're going to see the baby? Such and such and such. Didn't see the baby. She found out from the ex-wife. She was like, no, I lost that baby in June. I had a miscarriage. She said, I've been asking this man, let me see some pictures, whatever, because she said you had them in January and stuff. And like literally, this man had told her that his ex-wife daughter, his stepdaughter, had died of COVID in 2020, and said that the ex-wife had asked him for $2,000 if they can help for the funeral. And she said, yeah, sure. She said, because ain't nobody gonna play with death. But he goes to so much as somebody who has passed a long time ago to say that they died in 2020 during COVID. Or
mm,
you understand what I'm saying? And it was like,
yeah.
what's happening? Or he'll pretend like he was talking to his brother, who he hasn't talked to since 2015, who say that if I see him, I'm a piss. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like,
Yeah.
and she said, I sat there with him while he's talking to his brother. I couldn't hear his brother voice, but he'll say, well, my brother said, hey. And she said, tell him I say, hey. Like, when we go through the motions.
I feel sorry for, I mean, of course he's wrong, right? But I also wonder her about what made her continue. What did she think? Who is she before this happened? Right. And what profile, identity, of emotions did she have that would allow herself to be in this codependent, ill-nurtured lifestyle?
Yeah.
Right? So like, she said, like you said, like she doesn't know who she is anymore. I'm like, well, did you know who you were before this?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And that consistency of ill patterned behavior, and you being responsive to that, and allowing yourself to be let down, allowing yourself to do these things. This was an emotional predator.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is an emotional predator.
Mm.
And so you being preyed upon, I'm just curious, what happens, what has been going on in your life for you to not make the boundary that was needed to protect yourself just in general. And so, and I hate to say it, but there's a lot of people that are so ready to be in a committed relationship that they're willing to take the simplest of consistencies or just promises rather than what their actual compatibility and standard is. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying she doesn't have standards. I'm not saying that, but it's at some point you have to question yourself about, who did I think I had to be to continue him?
Right. Mm. It was the thing is that when she said, I'm gonna share my story, and she said, I'm gonna share it all. I'm gonna share the good, bad, and the ugly. She said it's gonna be many times on here that I'm gonna say some stuff is not so enlightening for me, that when I look back on it, it is very embarrassing. That it might
Mhm.
make me look like in the bad light. And she said she
She's a
just,
victim.
yeah, like she just didn't like, how you want to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. And it was even in the first lie that she caught him in, the first lie, she gave him an out. Like she literally, she said, I gave him an out.
Mm.
I gave him an out. And it was like, she said, I can't even give an excuse of why I would do that. She said, but I don't, I guess I thought maybe it'd get better. But then she did say, and I forgot that, she said, I was seeing people with families and the kids and the children. And she said, I just thought it was my turn. I just thought it was my turn. And
Mm.
didn't realize that blowout, that was a
That's right.
sign.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then when she had that miscarriage, that was a sign. And a lot of times we miss that sign. A lot of times we pray for things. God shows us and we do what the hell we want to do.
That sensitivity to spiritual health.
Yeah. So it's like, do you really know what you want?
Mm. Right. And that's, and she's truly a victim.
Yeah.
And when you give somebody that out, you're also giving yourself that out too. A lot of times we always say, I'm giving you that out. But really what you're doing is you're hoping that they choose what you want.
Yeah.
It's not really about your standards at that point.
Yeah.
And, I know there's so many relationships in this world right now, especially that people are using convenience
Mm-hmm.
over
Yeah.
their own actual emotional needs and mental stability.
Yeah.
That's so hard, and that's very difficult to be with a pathological lie, that breadcrumbs. And
Yeah.
that's, there's so much the codependency in there.
Yeah.
That's very codependent.
Yeah. And even when described, it's a great story. It is, because you'll be sitting there like, girl, what, like what, like what? But now he has been revealed. She didn't reveal him, but somebody went. Social media is a beast.
They
And
always find it.
they found him. They found him. They found him. And we truly see what she was talking about, because he said that he was on set. He had just left Netflix. Netflix was filming his documentary. He'd been filming for the past 16 days. Mind you, the video just started on the 14th. So it only been up for 5-6 days.
Wow.
Netflix move fast.
Yes. So it's like what she said, he's showing us in a whole different, you know what I'm saying? Like she's showing it all. But the thing is that the ex-wife, the very first wife that she found out just looking at her mother obituary, she didn't even know it was the first wife. Her son came out. I mean, her son came out and revealed, yeah, my mom was married to him. And then the ex-wife did a live show today with someone, and she originally told her story before, a little bit of it, and she had said, it's been 10 years. She said, I'm now married. I've healed from that. That was she met the family. She met the mom. She met the dad. She's met everybody.
Mm.
He said no, he was that was the vile. Like that's vile, and she was speaking into the other young lady and said, I hope you get some healing in somewhere somehow. And she said, I just don't want to be a part of it. And I guess somebody I guess people were coming into her comments and speaking, and she decided that, okay, yes, I'm going to tell my story. Now people are coming at her as well as they are Keisha's, like, why would you tell your story? Why would you want, to get paid for your story? Why would you, is it a money grab? Is it a money this? Is it money that? And someone said in there, I'm kind of questioning that they did that. And I said, I don't know. And why I can say this, because I have been in the public, and people will take your story and write your narrative for you and get paid off of that. So why is it that you, as a person that this has happened to, why can't you come and tell your story and be able to benefit off of it? You understand what I'm saying? It's, and people say, well, no, they shouldn't be doing this. Why not? This lady, Tisa, I don't care how long it took her to do it, and she's still going through it right now. And why can't she? I believe, for me, I believe this is the blessing that she has. So funny that it's happening, but he's now been revealed. So now he can't do it no more. It won't be as easy anymore. That maybe it will help the next woman or man, whatever the victim that he has or anybody else has. So now they can know what that looks like. Because a lot of people don't know what signs to look like for a pathological liar. What's the signs of that? So for you, doctor, what will be one of the red flags, the key to knowing of a pathological liar?
Too much upfront, too fast. The relationship should feel like a hill. And if you can't tell what part of the hill you're at, that's a problem. If you start on too high, it means you're going to fall. If you start too low, you should ask where are you at with this? If you don't know where you're at in the hill with somebody, then you need to check yourself first before you check them. Because what it means is that you're not being authentic. So I always use the hill method as my way of understanding what is the actual currency of this relationship. What is the currency of this relationship? Is it time? Is it money? Is it sex? Is it conditions? Is it situations? What's the currency of this? And then ask yourself on that hill, where am I at right now on this hill with them?
Right. Okay, so let me say, I'm about to be real honest with you. I'm not a hill person. I'm not. I'm about to give you my goddamn book. And why I'm about to give you my goddamn book? Because I don't want to go up and goddamn hill. I'm just being honest.
So that would be
Down that goddamn
that's either
hill.
on the bottom. That's on the that's either the bottom of the hill or that's at the top of the hill, and they got to decide if they're gonna climb on down or they're gonna climb on up. So you are the hill, and they gotta know what they're gonna do.
All right, here it is. Look, we is not about to go up and down this goddamn hill.
We taking the scenic route. I'm not going up no hill. Oh God, you too much. Oh my God. That debunks my whole theory right there. I was like, I was up with the asterisk, unless you're Naomi.
Wait, as you were saying, I was like, I don't know. I don't know about that. Well, dog pound my mind like I heard Naomi talk about that book.
Right. I was like, that book. Let me say that book. Everybody want to know what that book is. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. That's the other good book. I love it.
But it's just I really wanted to find, everyone's been, and it has been a laughing moment because it was very entertaining, but I wanted to hear someone with some sense, and not saying I ain't got no sense, but just someone with, with just a background with mental illness and stuff like that can just be able to, give us a different light or a different side, because they've been having a whole lot of live TikToks and, everybody's giving their opinion and stuff like that on what it is. But I just wanted to, take it a little step further, to see exactly what it is. And everything that you spoke, even about her, and she even said it. She said, my self-esteem wasn't as high as I'm on the bigger side, of the spectrum when it comes to, I'm a big woman. I wanted, my desire was to have a family, to have this. And so maybe me being, out there like this Thursday, I kind of maybe I brought it on to myself,
That's self-esteem and self-concept, though.
Yeah.
Right? There's a difference between self-esteem and self-concept. Self-esteem is how good or bad you feel about yourself. Self-concept is, do I know who I am based upon the impact or reactions that others make because of me? And a lot of times we have, high self-esteem, but have a low self-concept. We don't really know the impact we make based upon how people treat us. And so when you have someone breadcrumbing you, they're raising your self-concept of who you think you should be, what you think you want in your life. And they build that up so much. And then when it falls through, it takes away your self-esteem at the same time. So a lot of times we battle between those two different things.
Right. So with that, for them, the one who's doing the breadcrumbing, what does it give them? What is that high or that they get out of it? What is it? What are they trying? Is it control?
It's a sense of, well, not only is it just manipulation, right? But what it is codependency, right? I need to feel a certain way about myself, and I'm willing to do anything I need to get the reaction, not the response, but to get the reaction needed to feel fulfilled. And so she was willing to be the reaction he needed to be fulfilled until it got over. And then she learned how to respond. And that's why she made that video. Her response was the video, right? And being able to be like, have the humility and the strength and the ability to be like, this is what happened to me. I'm okay with sharing my story. And a lot of people are afraid to tell their story so much. And so he's using the manipulation of being the good guy to get his needs and to create that codependent cycle. It didn't matter that it was her. It could have been anybody.
It was.
He preyed on that, right? Right? He prayed and looked for someone that had a profile that he could create a codependent cycle with and create that manipulative pattern. It didn't matter. That was his tornado. And it didn't matter. It just got her.
Right.
And who's next?
Right. Dope, you got something to say? I know you.
Oh yeah. Thanks. you know something. One thing that it's really about him, and he's a liar. But what he does is to him is better than his reality. His lies are better than his reality, and he preys on people, women, who he can get over on, who he can do that, and that's his life. And I think it's been his life forever. And we done seen this movie before because that's what it's a movie. Remember Leonardo when he paid when he was the airline pilot and he went around lying.
Oh yeah, Catch Me If You Can.
We've seen many movies like this.
Catch Me If You Can.
I mean, the movie, one of my favorites, Joe from You on Netflix series.
Oh yeah,
but we done seen this before, and it happens in people for real. So really, some people say, reality creates that entertainment. No, sometimes that entertainment, you see what's coming because there are people like that, and he's a person that all he does is he lie and try to get over and tell these stories and tell these lies and move on the victim. And like I said, I didn't watch the video. All I know is from what Naomi told me. But even hearing more and more of the story, and now he's online and she took up. You see what this really doing to him? It's making him a celebrity. And one thing you said, Naomi, is that people know him. He out there now. I think being out there now is going to make it worse.
You think it's dangerous?
I think it's dangerous. Yeah, because
it's gonna make the other people find out too, though.
Yeah,
other people just like him.
But you still have women out there that's looking. When you talked about the heel You know, we know Naomi is the heel, but the heel is what got on trouble because she was on.
You got me over here feeling some type of way. I'm like, okay, I'm the heel, but then I'm like, that, especially you, Dog Pound. Like, what kind of sad ass?
Ain't no side eye because the thing is, the heel got in trouble because on that heel is where her tire blew out, and he came up that hill and rescued her, and that's all.
Yep, he came on the hill.
He came on that hill and changed that tire. It was a wrap.
Yep.
He met her.
He won.
Saw her, he hit her
won.
right where he wanted, and he's my hero because
It wasn't cheesesteak. It wasn't cheesecake.
That first day,
he said, "When the cheesecake."
that first day, he could have took her to the Cheesecake Factory. She wouldn't care.
They went.
He would have climbed up. He would have climbed up the hill. That would have been a climb. But that tire wheel.
Once he changed the tire, it was a wrap. You know. So that first night, not even hearing the stories, I didn't hear her story. That first night, they probably made love. And then after that,
no, they did.
Yes, he did. Yes,
they
did.
They didn't. You ain't even hear the story. No, she said that they hadn't did anything for a couple.
Nah, sorry.
You cannot say that.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, if I change,
come on,
Will,
hey.
Will, put that man on, Will.
I'm not gonna. All I'm gonna say is this. All I'm gonna say is this: that she can say that she didn't, but I'm telling you, if a man on the first date came over to you and changed your tire, made everything okay, it may not have been penetration, but he penetrated something in the mind and the heart. I'll give you that. You went from romantic to intimacy in a matter of a tire change. For me, it's romance, sex, intimacy. That's the process.
And Naomi, I know Will is your boy. That's your doctor with the wellness center, but he gonna come to the kennel one day.
I just walked by. I didn't walk in. I walked by. I didn't walk in, Naomi. I promise. I swear I didn't. I walked by. I didn't walk in.
He gonna walk back here. Something say what's happening in there.
I looked in the window like.
That's where it starts.
Oh, there's so many dogs in there.
She ain't sleeping with that man. Y'all better stop doing that. That's how rumors start.
They start in the kennel.
Look, I don't even like that.
What do they say? If you hang out in the barbershop too long, you eventually get your hair cut.
Thank you. But that's him though. So he moving on to he had a victim before her, and he's moving on. He's telling these lies, because this excites him. You know,
this is exciting.
What he does excites him. I can get over on people. I can pass myself.
Emotionally drunk.
I can do that. Yeah.
Emotionally drunk. Yes.
Right.
You know. Yeah. So he got this new video. It's a video up that he has now, and he's saying how you shouldn't Google people and find out who these people are because Google usually is lying about you. Don't do that. Just take the person where.
Y'all ass off.
Yeah. And you know why I'm because it was so entertaining. It really was. It really was entertaining. It really was. But my heart went out to her. It did. First of all, I love that she was being courageous enough to tell her story in the way that she told it. And the thing is, she made sure that she was respectful in even describing him. Like she was being, very descriptive and made sure she,
Because she's a kind person.
Yeah.
Because she's a kind person. She is.
She sounds like one, but she needs to take that script over to Netflix herself to get him on set. She need to go tell. I mean, but like you said, she's telling that story. But if that story was happened to her, so that's real in her life.
Yeah, that's real in her life.
So if you can benefit for that, fine, go right ahead.
Yeah.
I don't know what's your financial situation, but go right ahead.
And I guess that was my next question, especially for both of y'all. Well, I just got your answer for you. You think that's okay? You hear a lot of people out there. No, she shouldn't be doing that. And I know I spoke my piece. For you, someone that is going through something like that and able to share their story, in that manner, should she have the opportunity to be able to monetized off of her story in her life?
The black part of me is how many black lives have been monopolized and monetized, and they were never, and their stories were always being paid off, and people weren't being paid appropriately.
Yeah.
Think about all the slave movies that have been made by white directors,
Yeah.
and the actors were never paid anything. You think about actors that we all know and love that do not get the fair pay.
Yeah.
So for my thing is, if you have something that you want to offer, if you have a story that you want to offer, and you can create an artistic spin that would allow it to be monetized, and it's in the integrity of what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's, I think of, I can't say no to somebody creating their own work and not getting paid for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sad thing is she better do it before he does it, because the story is about him too.
Because they're all looking for him right now. They're all looking for him, right?
He
They're
could
all
be
trying to find him.
in a Netflix office trying to pitch this whole thing.
No, he
Yep.
wouldn't.
Yeah, he lying. But you know something? He may be lying.
He probably there this weekend though. On Monday.
Yeah, right. He was
Yeah, on
lying
Monday.
there,
Because she's been on the news now. Like
yeah,
when
see?
I say it caught fire,
There you
it
go.
caught fire. She went from maybe 36,000 followers to 2.4 million followers.
There you go.
Wow.
And that's all the numbers
Yeah.
they need. Either one
Right,
can
yeah.
walk up to a production company and say, "Here go this story."
Yeah.
Yep.
She got the video, she got the documentation, but we know what he does.
Yeah. And I guess it's two versions, two different versions of the story. Now I'm thinking as a producer, but two different, versions of the story. Yeah,
Be like Orange Juice Jones, two different versions.
But think about this though.
Orange Juice Jones song, right?
But she could actually become a host for a show and bring other people on that have their own story, and then she can because we all know who she is. She could be a host.
Yeah.
And keep it moving.
Yeah. 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 Well, the Orange Juice Jones, the Walking in the Rain.
Walking in the Rain. It was a remake for that too.
It was?
It was the woman version. It was the other version. Yeah.
No, I've never heard that one.
Interesting.
We're gonna have to look that up on iTunes.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to look that one up because I haven't. It was a really. My BTG crew. Did y'all know that? Where my old school booty, new booties at? That's on here. Huh?
Always a comeback. I hope I ain't the oldest dude on Dog found your old ass.
Wait, Rico said what remake? Right, Orange Juice Jones, Walking in the Rain. It was a rebuttal.
Yes.
What? I don't. Who sang?
Mm-hmm.
You said
Yeah.
Who sang it? Who?
I don't know.
Oh, who is that?
Like I said, we got the lead Google. You can't be you looking up right on the shit.
Yeah, I'm Googling. I sure am.
This Google has been brought by Bridging the Gap.
Really? Like?
Yeah. Not a remake, a rebuttal.
A rebuttal.
Yeah. But then we'd have hit a number.
I've heard of this. I've actually heard of this before. That's
But
the fact that you brought it up. That was really good. I'm not gonna lie.
The thing is you have both perspectives. You have both perspectives. Yeah. And we see Naomi's down another rabbit hole.
I goes down that rabbit hole.
Right. The fact your face went stone still. Your face went still. Right. You were analyzing. It was like I saw the numbers going across your head. I saw it. I was like, "Oh, you in there?"
Oh, it is.
See, Will, you better get over the kennel.
Hold on.
I held the door open. Look, the bell on the door.
Hold on. Let me see. Okay, no, that's somebody talking about. Hold on. Now I have to find this.
Right,
I really have.
When we get to these records, you want me to go to break or something?
You sure can. Yep. Take us out, dog. Mike. No, I'm just kidding. It's your girl. You got nothing. Actually, Bridget Gap. I'm about to find this rebuttal, y'all. I'm about to come right back with it. So we're gonna take a quick break and then we go come back. All right. It's your girl. You got it. So actually, Bridget Gap podcast.
Hi, I'm Dr. William C. Washington, aka Dr. Will, your friendly neighborhood counselor. One of the biggest things that I want to tell you about is that I'm a health psychologist, a licensed professional clinical counselor supervisor, an MDMA assisted therapist, a ketamine assisted therapist, a a psychedelic integration prep specialist. I'm a researcher, a mentor, a supervisor, and also an artist. One of the biggest things about Washington Wellness Institute is that I created this to modernize the way that we look into the world. And I hate to say it, but we're finally getting rid of the old ways of thinking. I want to bring in the silver age of psychology. And to do that, I've even created a model called restorative enhancement modality that focuses on motive and purpose to make healing a lifestyle. I want to offer this to you. I want to offer this to the world and to anyone that's ready to learn. So, if you're ready, sign up today. Be kind to yourself and heal always.
Welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast with Naomi Banks, where every day is a chance to embrace self-discovery and personal growth. Join Naomi on a transformative journey, streaming exclusively on Spotify and Breaker. With daily episodes from Monday through Friday, podcast is your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and self-love. Dive deep into engaging conversations about self-care, mindfulness, and personal development. Naomi brings you expert insights, practical tips, and uplifting stories from thought leaders in the field. Embark on a journey of self-discovery and unlock the power of self-love. Mark your calendars and tune in to the Season of Self-Love podcast, available every weekday on Spotify and Spreaker. Remember, it's time to prioritize yourself and embrace the beautiful season of self-love. Get inspired and join Naomi Banks on the Season of Self-Love podcast.
All right, it's your girl, you got his Naomi Banks here on Ask Naomi Bridget Gap podcast. Okay, y'all. Welcome back. I found it.
You went to the dog pound.
You found it.
Rough. Okay, we found it. We found it. And when I heard it, I was like, oh okay. And the funny thing is about Tommy Boy Records. And they're like Queen Latifah. Yeah, back in the day. Yeah, I found it.
See?
It was all right. Okay. It was.
We did it.
See, we'll just try to get over to the kennel. See, talking about we did it now. Okay, come on over.
Look, I'm just looking out the window. I'm just looking through the window. That's all.
It was all right. It was okay. I'm gonna listen to it after the show. Like really listen to it. Really. Then if I like it, I'll make a video and say something about it. If not, then I'm not gonna say anything about it. Because if I didn't hear it, because I listen to, I know some music. That's what's very surprising that I did not.
We had that conversation the other day.
Yeah.
That's a good song.
It must not been that good. I mean, no, that was not nice. That was not nice at all. That was not nice. That the low vibration just came out of me right this moment.
You gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. You gotta let it. It's time. It's time. Let it go.
What do you have to say? No, my he is over there scratching and itching. What's
the whole point of it is just she got to get hers before he get in and manipulate the situation, because that's the kind of person that he sounds like. All this is going viral now. He putting up stuff. So okay, let me see how I can get over on this situation as well.
Yeah, but honestly, I think it's going to be a payday for them both.
Yeah.
And I think the other parties that's a part of the other parties, even though she didn't say their names, I think all of them are going to have a little bit of payday too, because there's two ex-wives that was involved in it as well that play. She spoke about them a lot, especially the second wife. She spoke of them a lot into this scenario. So there's probably be different stories, and then the fake brothers, so it's a lot of different characters and series that's in there. But one thing that I did like that she said is, even when creating that series, she said for first of all, for her, it's for her healing. She said because she felt like she was holding it in because of shame and embarrassment. And she just felt once I release it and let it go, not only would it help me, but it will help others out there that might have been going through the same situation, or even just making them aware, or, of what it is, or, or just pay attention to those red flags that's there. You know, that's something that I tell my girls all the time is that, you know, we see those red flags and for some reason we feel like we can take that red flag and fold it up and put it to the side and be able to change that person for who we want them to be. And we just can't. That is who they are at that time. You understand what I'm saying? And if it's not aligned with you and who you are, don't compromise that. You understand what I'm saying? Just don't do that. And I know that's hard to say, but then that's where you have to truly find that love for yourself, that you don't need nobody else as a validation. Truly. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know, my belief is that, you know, the more you tell your story, the less you become of it.
Yeah.
And artistry is one of the best ways to give yourself the voice that you lost in your moment of life.
Yeah.
You know, and so I'm glad that she found a creative way to give her trauma a language and to give it its own property to be lessened.
Yeah. I like that, trauma a language. Yeah, I like that. That's a good one. That's a good one.
You know, my last thing is that it's scary because, you know, like you said, they probably all will have a payday, but he seems like the type of person that will never change. So, if he really has some money, how much damage can he really do? Because now he can tell bigger lies.
Ooh.
You know,
See,
he can tell bigger lies because I don't think he ever's going to change.
yeah, but that's the strength in that power of codependency and manipulation. He thrives off of survival. He thrives off of people that are desperate, trying to find some closure. And so once he finds what you need for closure, he can become that. And so it'll either make him too seen, or what happens is that he'll go into hiding and he'll find out those who've not seen it. Right. And so now he has to find out what has people seen, what people haven't seen. And so now that's just another way of chameleonizing his mindset. Now when he's doing his more predatory work, he just has to be more crafty about how much have you seen, how much have you haven't seen.
Right.
Surprise element, you can get off on that kind of stuff.
He's an emotional predator.
Exactly.
With that money in the game, he can pull out more emotion.
Yeah. But you know, Charmaine, I'm speaking to you because you and I have been going back and forth. So let me tell you where I think where he got that money from, and I'm not being funny. I think that he's been getting disability checks. You know, they have those programs where you work in these different programs, but they still pay you your disability check when you understand what I'm saying? So I feel like he's getting a monthly statement of payment every month, as well as being able to work in those different programs. So that is how he is able to get the money.
Okay.
Y'all think about that. Yeah, that's why I was really thinking like, that's where he getting the money from. Yeah.
But I mean, if you want it, you always find a way. You know, some people's drug is you know, substances and all that, but some people's drug are people. It's a hot commodity.
Very.
All right, y'all. So we're not gonna open up the lines today. We kind of went over our topic as our time as always, but we love it here. Dr. Will, thank you for stopping in with us today, giving us that giving us some knowledge. You gave me some words to even think about. That was a good one. I don't know about you going over there watching the dog pound, because I
just heard noises. I didn't walk in. I heard noise. I was a concerned citizen on Naomi's World walking through the neighborhood. I'm just a friendly neighborhood counselor. That's all I am.
You better stay out the hood. You better stay out the hood. Stay out there in them suburbs. Wherever you at, stay in them suburbs.
I got the house with the skinny letters on it.
All right, guys. Again, thank you for tuning in here. It was a great topic. It was. We were able to spin it the way that we know how to do best. It's all about truly getting us to understand who we are. And even in this whole story we could always find somebody who we can relate to. And we were relatable in every aspect of it. It was a question that I had to ask as well, but I'll save that for another time because I'm gonna break it down and make it a whole another topic, and it has to do with men. Yeah, it has to do with men.
Us.
Yeah.
What we do?
Yeah. It has to do with you all. Because what it does is with that, and it's so funny because we talked about this topic before about the representative. Yeah, and it just seemed like through that, you see, I can just keep going on and on and on, and I'm gonna stop this because we're gonna come back to this. And this is like, for me, it was like this is a representative on a whole nother level. Right. Like it's different levels, to it.
Yeah.
With it. All right. So let's do this. Let's break this down. We'll see y'all next week. Guys, tune into the Season of Self-Love podcast. It's a great podcast. I'm not just saying it because I'm on there or Dr. Will on there. I'm just saying because it truly is. It really, really is. It helps you to truly get in touch with yourself and find out who you are. Especially today's show was really great. It was talking about fueling fear, but also we talked about yesterday was mindfulness. Tomorrow I got a great topic that I'll be talking about is bringing it all together and having a winning mindset. We talk about everything from just loving yourself, goal setting, just so many different things, and I'm on Monday through Friday at the Season of Self-Love podcast. So make sure. And Dr. Will, he's on twice a week with me, and he's giving it. He's really giving it. And honestly, and we don't say this enough. It's something we talked about when you first came on with us here about mental illness or just mental health. And as he said before, he said during this year, we all go through some sort of mental health, and it's something that you can truly go to him for. He's Washington Wellness Institute, and he does online. I hope I'm not speaking for you, but you do online. In case you're not there in Ohio with where he's at, as well as you are in Ohio and you're watching this. Hit him up. Truly, he does some great work. He had me on the couch this morning. I've never been on a therapist couch.
You did so good. You did so good.
It was good. It was good. Yeah, it was. It was really good. I was very It was, yeah, it was. It helped me to shave the side of my head. No, I'm just kidding, but no, it was good.
That made you say, I'm the reason why you said, yeah, oh no. It's like, now if I see one more person do it, now I know I'm the problem. I'm the problem. I'm dropping my license after that. I'm like, I can't make people be shaving their head.
All right, Doc, Paul, Mike, you had any last minute words?
All good. Just chilling at the kennel.
Okay. Dr. Will, you have any last words?
Be kind to yourself and heal always.
There it is. All right. It's your girl, the Goddess Naomi Banks here on Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap podcast. As I always say, be good to one another and yourselves. And always keep it sexy. I'll see y'all next week. Bye-bye.
Hey, it's the Goddess Naomi Banks. And I hope you enjoyed that last episode of Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap. And if you did, please like, subscribe, press that notification button, as well as comment. I'll see you next week. Keep it sexy.
Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap. This is where we talk about love, sex, relationship.